Hey yoga and fitness friends, thanks for joining me on the mat again today. If you are new to the channel, I am Vicky with UPLIFT Yoga and Fitness, and I'd encourage you to take a moment to hit that subscribe button so that you continue to get notifications on my new videos. Today's class we will have a vinyasa practice that encourages us to center and focus. If you're using essential oils with me today, I've got my Mindful roller bottle, which you can pick up in my shop. See the link in the comments below. But Mindful is a blend of orange, vetiver, Clary Sage, frankincense, and Ylang Ylang. And I just simply take a roll in a couple of the key places so that the aroma stays with me for the duration of the practice, helping me to center and focus. All right, so today's practice you will want a couple of blocks. It'll come in handy, although you could probably get by without them. It could also be books or something of that nature if you don't happen to have yoga blocks. And join me in a seated position, whatever that looks like for you. It could be in Sukhasana or maybe even seated on one of the blocks. And either closing down the eyes or taking the gaze to the floor. Sitting up a little straighter in the spine, letting the shoulders soften down. Taking a moment here to center and focus with our breath. Noticing how the breath is feeling at this point. Beginning to increase those inhales to a count of 4 or 5, matching the exhales to that same count. Using the focus on the breath to help keep our minds from wandering, to keep us in the present moment. Taking one more deep inhale here. Nice full exhale. And we'll move to tabletop pose. So finding hands and knees. While we're transitioning, I'll mention today I'm coming to you from Yoga Central, a studio in Wichita, Kansas, at the corner of Central and Woodlawn. So if you happen to need an in-person class, certainly check them out. All right, from our tabletop pose, find a gentle engagement in the core, the belly button pulling up into the spine, lengthening tailbone behind you, crown of the head in front of you. Honing our focus, centering the mind and body here, and we'll transition to a balancing table. The right leg extends out behind you. Find your new center. And then when ready, extend the left arm out in front of you, reaching from fingertips to toes, trying to keep the hips squared and centered. Belly button continues stay engaged, and release it down. Re-engage through this center here, and then extend the left leg behind. Find the new center. Extend the right arm in front. Reaching, centering, finding the focus. And release it down.
Tuck the toes under here, press into the hands, slowly transition in a downward facing dog. Knees can be bent, the heels softening towards the floor, pressing into the hands, the arms externally rotating, the shoulder blades sliding down the back. Take the head, a little yes, a little no, just to release that neck. And we'll open up into a plank pose. So unfurl, belly button pulls up into plank, shoulders stack over the wrists. And then belly button pulls up as you refine downward dog. And unfurl to plank. Pull it up to dog. Plank pose. Down dog. And again, finding the engagement in the core here. Once more. Plank pose. Downward facing dog. And press the heels down, sit bones to the ceiling. And then bend the knees, look at the hands, step or hop forward, forward fold. Bend the knees here, unroll all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Allow the shoulders to roll back and down as the head comes up. Clasp the hands behind the back here, roll the shoulders back and down as the fists work their way down towards the floor. Just lifting upward, the gaze can go with it. And then bend the knees, find a forward fold. The arms might lift up off the back or simply reach to the wall behind you. Knees can be bent in this forward fold here, needed. And then release the arms down. Take the hands into the elbows, find a ragdoll. Maybe the knees bend a little more as you really relax through the torso. You can find a gentle sway if that feels good, or just hold still. Bend the knees here, rolling up once again, one vertebrae at a time. Let the shoulders roll back and down as the head comes up. All right, let's come down to sit here. And we'll find bow pose. Again, engaging through the core, using our focus. So the hands come on either side of the hips. I like to roll the shoulders once again, back and down. Engage the core as I lean back slightly, lifting the feet, balancing on the sit bones. The torso is long. The knees can be bent here. Hands can also come to the legs if you choose. They can stay at the floor or here. If you feel that you've got the energy and ability, straightening through the legs, maybe the arms coming up. It's always good to try. You never know. Your body will surprise you. All right, and then bring it down. Continuing with our core engagement, using the core here, the arms come out in front as you slowly roll down. Very carefully. Try not to plop down. We want to engage the core here. All right, so we're moving into shoulder stand and then plow pose. If you have any issues with the neck, or maybe woke up with a stiff neck today, you may want to skip this pose. You can simply stay here or find bridge pose or a supported bridge pose with the blocks. From here, if you're taking shoulder stand, the arms extend alongside the body, the legs come up to the ceiling. We'll press into the hands as we take the legs back and up. The hands come on either side of the sacrum, the low back area, and then walking the hands up the back as we take the hinge out of the hips. So the feet pressing up to the ceiling. Careful not to turn your head in this pose. And then as we come out of shoulder stand, we move to plow pose, rehinging through the hips as the feet come behind the head, the arms extend out behind you. The feet may or may not touch the floor. Again, being mindful to not turn the head from this pose. To come out of plow pose, we press into the hands, we engage the core as we slowly let the hips come down. We again do not want to plop down, we want to control the movement and let the feet come to the floor. So we'll all meet in bridge pose here as we plant the feet, the arms stay alongside the body, press into the feet and the hands and the shoulders as you peel the hips off of the mat for bridge pose. Maybe not a full bridge, just maybe 80% of the way up, and then slowly lower down. We'll find one more. This one you may want to find a deeper expression of the pose. Peeling the hips upward. Of course, you have the option to clasp the hands under the back. Feel the knees pressing forward and even drawing you towards each other so they don't splay outward. And then slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. And then we will counter the shoulder stand and plow pose with supported fish pose. So we've got our two blocks here. I take one block, vertical with the body, it will go between the shoulder blades, and the other block will go crosswise where my head will be. And I simply lean back, setting up so that the block will again be right between the shoulder blades, right along the spine, offering support. And the block for the head, I feel like I need to have this one up a little higher today, so it comes right into the base of the skull, supporting the head. Let the arms come alongside the body. The legs can be extended, or you can always pull them into a constructive rest. Feet wide, knees in. So we're allowing the shoulders to open, the chest to open here. Come back to that focus on the breath. Recentering the body and the mind. Take one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, we'll roll to one side to come off of the blocks. Coming into Janu Shirshasana. So a seated pose, we'll extend the right leg, we'll pull the left into the inner thigh, the right foot into the inner thigh. My right toes pop to the ceiling, the knee and the toes pointing upward. This will be a fold over that extended leg, so the torso is going to slightly twist with the belly button reaching towards the knee. Arms reach up, extend, and then slowly start to fold forward, maybe reaching forward before dropping it down. The head coming towards the knee. Using this version of a forward fold to once again find focus and center with the breath. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, let the hands walk back to come up with the torso. And we'll slowly change legs. So the right leg pulls in, the left extends out. Knee and toes towards the ceiling. Arms sweep up, reach.
belly button towards that knee. Fold it forward, reach the arms in front of you, and then drop it down. Take note of each inhale and each exhale. Staying present here in this practice. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, walk the hands back. Draw that knee in. And we'll meet at the top of the mat in the standing position. So we're going to find Malasana here. In fact, you may want to have a block, so I'll grab one just in case. The feet come, in fact, I'll turn here so you can see better. The feet are a little wider than the hips, heels in, toes out. We simply bend at the knees to lower the hips down. If you're using the block, it comes right under the hips, under the sit bones. Elbows into the knees. Outwardly pressing as the palms press together. Lengthen through the spine. Create length in the neck to come out of your turtle shell. Now, if you're not on the block, maybe coming down. And of course, your heels may not be touching, and that is a-okay. It's all about the progress, not the perfection. From here, plant the hands down, lift the hips up, toes point forward as you fold, soften the torso down, lift up halfway, toes turn out, lower back down, Malasana. We'll do that 2 more times. Hands down, hips float up, toes point forward, soften into the fold, lift up halfway, toes out, hips down. Once more, hands down, hips up, toes forward, soften. Lift up halfway, toes out, hips down, Malasana. From this Malasana pose, you can certainly stay here, or one more option to help with your focus is finding crow pose. So if you're finding crow pose from Malasana, the hands come down. You'll probably have to resituate your feet and the knees, so the knees come up into the armpits. The hands plant, fingers spread wide. The gaze is going to come a few inches in front of the hands, leaning forward as you take the weight of the knees into the arms. One foot up and then the other. The core is engaged. And then coming back down into Malasana. So of course, crow pose Malasana is always a fun flow to play with, but if you're not feeling it today, no worries. There is a little bit of fear if you've not done crow pose before, so you can always have a block or a pillow under the forehead to help with that fear of maybe face planting into the mat. All right. From this Malasana pose, hands down, float the hips up, toes forward, soften down to your fold. Bend the knees here, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Here we have another pose to help hone your focus. Moving into half moon. So I have a block here at the top of the mat. In Tadasana, I inhale. Take my left foot, step it back, maybe finding warrior 2. Adjusting the feet as needed. From warrior 2, I take my hand down, find the block, transition the weight into this front leg as I lift the back. I'm just taking my left hand to the hip here today. Taking my gaze towards the floor, again to help with my focus. Centering with the balance, focusing the mind. Slowly lower that left foot all the way down, back into that warrior 2. Nice work. From here, we're transitioning to tree pose, another opportunity to focus. Shift the weight forward into a crescent pose, a little hop. Take that left foot into the ankle, calf, or thigh. Bring the hands to heart center. Maybe grow your tree, keeping the belly pulled in. Pull that knee forward, step it back to a crescent pose. Back foot steps forward, extend, maybe a slight back bend. Come down to a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Fold back down. Bend the knees, root to rise. From here, step your right foot back into that warrior two. Coming into half moon first, weight comes forward into the front leg, find the block, shifting, back foot slides and lifts. The hip is open, right hand stays to the hip, my gaze stays to the floor. Focusing the gaze, focusing the breath, staying present here. Slowly lower that back foot down to our warrior two. Shift it into crescent pose, moving into our tree, slight hop, foot to the ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands to heart center, or grow your tree. Knee comes forward, step it all the way back to our crescent pose. Step into our Tadasana, reach the arms up, maybe a slight back bend. Come down to fold, either hands through center or swan dive down. Inhale, nice flat back. Exhale, fold and hold. From here, just bend the knees, come down to sit. All right, so from here, we're going to move into seated meditation, some silence just to help you, once again, hone your focusing. If you feel that you need a Shavasana, you're welcome to pause the video, take your Shavasana, and come back to finish with us in the seated meditation. So finding whatever seated posture works for you. It could be Sukhasana or seated on the block. I feel like I need the block at this point just to raise my hips up a little higher. Lengthen through the spine here. Let the shoulders roll back and down. Crown of the head reaching up as you feel the grounding through the sit bones, either into the block or into the mat. Closing down the eyes or taking the gaze to the floor. Notice the breath. Notice any sensations you feel in the body. Check in with the mind, staying present in the practice. We'll stay here for several breaths as you just simply focus on the breathing. Once again, starting to hone that focus, that ability to focus. and slowly reawaken your awareness to the external. Once again, taking note of the body and any sensations you feel, taking note of the mind and how you may feel, whether centered or focused, perhaps any additional clarity. Bring the hands to heart center, the chin to the chest as a symbol of gratitude towards yourself today for taking time for this yoga practice to help you center and focus. And if you find that you need this practice at any point in any day, simply come back to it and take what you need from it. With peace, love, and gratitude, namaste.